Folks, a pleasant good morning and welcome. This is national television, and this morning we are coming to it live from the grounds of Temple of Justice in Monrovia. Today is the 17th of November, AD 2025. Last Monday we were here for the opening of criminal courts across the country, including Criminal Code A, Criminal Code B, Criminal Code C, Criminal Code D, all criminal courts across the country. And the opening marks the resumption of all criminal cases across Liberia. But today we are here for two major happenings. The first one is the reading of the indictment for former House Speaker Gineton Folanti Koffa and 14 others in the Capitol building Arson case that took place on December 17, 2024. And currently in court, we have the former House Speaker Gineton Folanti Koffa. We have Jacob DB from Grand Judea County. We also have Abu Kamarat from District number 15 in Moserado County. I'm yet to see District number 16 represented in court, but the other defendants, including the former House Speaker, are currently in Criminal Code A, where the indictment that was drawn by the grand jury of Moserado County is currently being read to them. And after the reading of that indictment, there is two options. Either they will plead not guilty or they will plead guilty. So one, if they plead guilty, meaning the government of Liberia have to use her own description. And the next option is, if they plead not guilty, the government now will be left with liberaling to come out with all pieces of evidence that is in their possession for prosecution of the case. So as we speak, the former House Speaker and others are currently in Criminal Code A, where the indictment is currently being read to them. It's a whole huge volume of document, close to 50-60 pages of document. So it will take a very long period of time. After the reading, then it will stand, to answer whether guilty or not guilty. But as I speak to you, the former House Speaker is currently there. He currently standing up. Some of you who are viewing me, if you are being to court, whenever you are being indicted and the indictment is being read to you, you will stand. That's what I'm doing now, and your hand will be in the air while the indictment is being read to you. So that is currently happening in Criminal Code A at the Temple of Justice. So the next one is, last week, the former Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Toer and others took a writ of prohibition from Criminal Code C, where they are currently also being charged for the use of $6 million at the time he was serving as finance minister. And they took a writ to the Supreme Court, asking the Supreme Court to draft indictment against the former finance minister on ground that when he was serving as finance minister, the $6 million that he used, according to him, the instruction was given to him by the president at the time, former President George Mane Weah, to buy IT equipment for the National Security Agency of Liberia, NSA for short. So based on that, he is asking the Supreme Court of Liberia and two Criminal Code C to drop charges against them, because the action that he took was a mandate from the president of Liberia at the time he was serving. So currently, at the Supreme Court of Liberia, the former finance minister, including his lawyers, are currently in the Supreme Court of Liberia, where the Supreme Court full bench will listen to that writ of prohibition that was filed a couple of months ago, and the hearing will take place. So last week was postponed. It was due to the absence of Judge Yusuf Kabat, who went abroad for some personal activity, but he had returned in country. So the full bench this morning will listen to that writ of prohibition, and they will come out with fact finding. Right after that, if Supreme Court rules in that case, meaning by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, the 6 million case involving the former finance minister trial will commence in criminal proceedings. Criminal proceedings have been presided by Judge Feka. Judge Usman Feka is the presiding judge of criminal proceedings. So as we speak, we have the president of the Liberia National Police here. As usual, when former hospital for Koffa and other comes to court, you will also see the presence of state security that involve the Liberia National Police. So currently they are here. The grounds of the Temple of Justice is a center of attraction this morning. As you can see, the place is jam-packed, but it is very peaceful. So we are here. We'll make sure to bring you full happening from the grounds of the Temple of Justice, from the Supreme Court of Liberia to Criminal Court A, where the indictment of former House Speaker and 14 others is currently being read to them by the grand jury of Moserado County. And Criminal Court A has been presided over by Judge Roosevelt Willie. He is the circuit judge for that particular court. So keep with us, National Television. I am Aaron Talu, making sure to bring you full happening here from the grounds of the Temple of Justice. That will give you the brief history of the case involving the former House Speaker for Koffa and other. On December 14, 2024, you can remember this, the much talk about impasse that took place. The former House Speaker, the colleagues declared that they had no more confidence in him to serve as Speaker of the House of Representatives. There was a former impasse that led to the burning of that Capitol building. And I can remember on that fateful morning when President Joseph Human Boakai arrived at the scene of the Capitol. First, the Vice President arrived first, and he took a tour along with the Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman. Followed by that, the President arrived. And when the President arrived, the President shed tears looking at the discussion that took place, the fire incident. I mean, those who were around the Capitol building, they wake up early morning, they saw the oozing smoke from the returner of the Capitol building. And after that, the Liberia National Police pronounced that the action was arson. And followed by that, you have fire experts coming from America who came, they did an independent investigation and also came out with a scene report that it was an arson attack. And 14 individuals were arrested, including lawmakers. Some of the lawmakers charges were dropped. Speaking of District Number 9 Representative Francis Foko, District Number 3 Representative from Bon County, Josiah Marvin Cole, charges were dropped. But you still have some other lawmakers, including Dixon Sibo, Abu Kamara, Dekot Dibi, and former House Speaker for Koffa, including President Koffa, who are asked from the magisterial level, which is the first instance court in Liberia. Normally we call the city court, who are asked for separate trial. She's not in court today because she asked for separate trial. Maybe the state might drop charges against President Koffa, who represents District Number 5 in Moserado County, to serve as state witness. So this is what we are this morning, this very bright and sunny Monday morning here at the grounds of Temple of Justice. So I'll be making my way back now to Criminal Court A, where the indictment is currently being read. After the reading of the indictment, I'll make my way also to the Supreme Court of Liberia to get 2 updates to kind of give you exactly what's unfolding here. Thank you so much for following National Television. I am Aaron Talu. I'll be back very shortly. Thank you.
But the most interesting thing about the indictment, it has a letter, right, from Kivi Bar to Honorable Dixon Sibo purporting to admit. I've said this before and I will say it to you again all the time. It's common sense. That's what we use in the law. How many of you these days can write a letter and a text message, you understand?
Okay. So for the reading of the indictment and for the account you just gave, it means that you have a strong defense in this matter.
No, that means that the prosecution don't have any case because there's no case to make. This is all politics and it will unravel as quickly as they put it together.
Are you hopeful for impression of your tour?
Of course. I mean, where there's no evidence, the only verdict is a not guilty verdict. And that will be determined by the jury.
So here's the former House Speaker, Geneton Council for Koffa, but we are still trying to speak with other lawyers who also were in court. So, like I said earlier, the indictment was read. The indictment was read by the criminal court here at the Temple of Justice in Monrovia, but Councillor Funati Koffa and others have pleaded not guilty, meaning the burden has not been shifted on the government of Liberia to provide all pieces of evidence that will lead to the prosecution of the former House Speaker, Councillor Jonathan Funati Koffa and others. So we are still here making sure to bring you the live happening. The former House Speaker just departed. I'm still trying to make way to speak with as lawyer representing the government of Liberia. I didn't see the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia in Cllr. I didn't see the grand jury for Moserado County, that is Moserado County Attorney. I didn't see him, but I'm still here making sure that I bring you full happening. I'm still here making sure to bring you full happening here from the grounds of the Temple of Justice in Monrovia. So, like I was saying, I've been joined by a veteran judicial reporter whom should normally stands, and this morning both of us were in criminal court 8 where the indictment was read, and I will join Peter Toby very, very shortly as we have interaction. Interaction on this the not guilty indictment that was just responded to by former House Speaker Jonathan, Councillor Funati Koffa and others. So here we come. Yes, I mean we can do it right here. So Mr. Tobe, we have been in the courtroom and we follow activity. The much awaited indictment have been read. What's your take? And they pleaded not guilty. What's your take?
Well, obviously, you will expect the defendants to come with a plea of not guilty, and the guilty plea, we can all say that set the stage now for the legal battle, because the plea now has shifted the burden of proof on government's lawyer, consistent with Chapter 25, Section 25.5 of the Criminal Procedure Law, that will allow the government to parade all the evidence, including the witnesses, in order to prove the claim against them. But prior to me coming on air with you, you listened to the indicted House Speaker, Funati Koffa. He said the reading of the indictment at all about years said, and they strongly believe that they have a strong defense and the state do not have a case against them. But that will normally be his voice. So let's wait and see what would happen when the case resumes. So at this stage, the case has been postponed for tomorrow, looking at the sidebar that took place in the court before some of the defense lawyer had left for another case before the Supreme Court. As you may be aware, the Supreme Court is also listening to the prohibition that was filed by the ex-finance minister Samuel Cllr. So they are seeing they pleaded with the court for time, but I think from the discussions, the court said, "But it will be better let arraign the defendants to plead to the indictment, then we can push time for the selections of jurors." So that is where they are now, because some of the key lawyers like Councillor Arthur Johnson, Wakenwright, they are all in that Samuel Cllr case. So Jonathan Massacre, they are all in some crucial cases before the Supreme Court. So the court, I think you listen to the Judge Judge Roosevelt Willis, who happened to be the resident judge, and that is proceeding over the case, gave them that time, but he wanted for the indictment to be read to the defendants, and the indictment was read. I think you listen to the plea in a loud voice. They are not guilty. So this means that the burden of proof have now been shifted on the government's lawyer, and the government remain confident. Like when I had a chat with the Solicitor General Counsel Augustine Fire, who was also in court earlier, but then he left for the Supreme Court to also I give the account in that case that have been filed by the former finance ministers. They all remain confident that they have the evidence. As you may be aware, they are also submitted all pieces of evidence to the defense team before the case can kick off, probably tomorrow. But the issue about jury selections, that will be one of the difficult issues as in this matter, because I'm expecting probably maybe 2 to 3 weeks in getting the full panel of the jurors. We're talking about 15-man panel jurors, but you will have 12 who will go into the deliberation room after listening to all the evidence and then come down with a verdict in the case. So it's a long battle, but we'll wait and see. And don't be surprised if you see some remaining rate coming from this matter again that happened prior coming to the stage. Probably some could be running out if they're in disagreement with some of the decision that will be taken by the court. So there's a long legal battle at Aaron.
So Tobit, I wanted to do a bit of synopsis about this case and the genesis. When this case started, it first started on December 14, when this whole incident took place at the Capitol building. But it's all started from the impasse that took place from the power struggle between the former House Speaker and the current Speaker, Reggie Nangbe Kun. But looking at it, we have other lawmakers also that were indicted. And later on, when they went to, they were accused when they went to the Liberia National Police, their charges were dropped. Speaking of Bon County District Number 3 lawmaker, Josiah Marvin Cole, District Number 9 representative as well, Francis Afoko. But we still have District Number 5 representative Priscilla Cooper. But in recent time, I have not seen Priscilla Cooper being actively involved into this case since the case came to the magisterial level and now is at the criminal court A. What is happening? You have been here for a couple of years.
I think let's get the facts straight in this matter, because I heard you talking about some other lawmakers who was part of this this entire episode at the Capitol building. They were accused. So at that time, the police were conducting investigations, but when the police concluded with the investigations, some of the lawmakers were not linked to the act that took place on December 18 at the Capitol building. So they were not included in the charge sheet, like Cole and Foucault that you just named. But as to Representative Priscilla Cooper, yes, she was part of the charge. But what I've gathered from the entire prosecution team is that she is not a charge in connection to the braining, but rather to some destructions that took place when she was head on that issues, the issue about renovating the John Chamber where the chairs and things were broken. So I think that is the charges they have against us, but she is not part of the braining of the Capitol building, so that is why you are not seeing her in court. So her issue is from what we are gathering is a separate trial for her in connection to her crime. As to whether the state could drop charges against us, that not for me to say, but just to come to what you were just alluding to, as to some lawmakers was either invited for investigations, but the police did not see any claims against some, so they were not included. But as to Priscilla, her under charge is quite different from Koffa's and 14 others. Remember now that just only a few defendants is before the court, because the total number of people that were indicted was 14, but you have let's say about 5 lawmakers and 6 other suspects who are still being barred due to the failure to file a valid criminal appearance bond. The bond that they filed for the entire for the rest, for all of the defendants, the bond has some defects, so the judge denied that bond. So they are yet to secure a bond for the other 6 defendants that is in prison, even though some was clear to be flat rigs by the court, and 3 were not flat rigs, but they are yet to obtain a valid criminal appearance bond to get them out. So that is why they are still in prison. So as I said, let's wait and see. There is a long legal battles that we're expecting here at Criminal Code 8 at Aaron.
Yeah, this is a national case out there, home and abroad. Liberians want to see the outcome of this particular case. Looking at the Capitol building, which is a national symbol where our law has been made, where you have representatives from the 73 electoral districts in the Republic, where they sit and all activities normally take place there. And looking at the burning of the rotunda where they normally sits, I mean, what do you think would be the picture like when this case shall have resumed in criminal court? You have followed other cases, other notable cases, but
I think Aaron,
looking at the character involved, looking at lawyers, their past record, I mean, come and think about it.
I think, as you rightly said, Liberians abroad, even at home, are all curious to see this entire proceeding, or how does it go. That is why you see that everyone is following the case. The fact that is in court, despite our justice strict term in terms of litigations, they are all patients, and I want to believe that they are all patients. The fact that they have been in the court since let's say December, or January, everyone have been eager. But one of the things that stalled the entire case is these pre-trial motions that were filed by the defendant. The defendant filed several pre-trial motions. There are uncountable pre-trial motions that they filed, and between me and you, they did not succeed in most of the pre-trial motions, and that is why I delayed the matter. The fact that we are the fact that we are come at the stage where the indictment have been read to them and they plead not guilty, I think everyone now is curious now if people who were following and then decide to lose interest, I think they will now come back to see that how it all goes, because the state is now about to produce evidence, but we'll wait and see after the selection, because they pray for jury trial. You know, the defendant can always have that latitude of time or of saying as to what they want. So they say they want jury trial, so they are now going to select the jurors, as I said earlier, as the best criminal lawyers are in a major case, so that prolong the time for tomorrow. So tomorrow the panel will be coming and they will be selecting the tired jurors to get the 15 men, because they court need 15 panel jurors, but only 12 will be keenly listening even though all 15 will be listening, but 3 there will be alternative, and then you will have 12 who will be going in the deliberation room when the matters have concluded, when both sides have rested with the productions. But it's a long trial, and I can give you a time frame as to when the entire trial will stop. But it's a long trial, and as we speak now, as I said earlier, the Supreme Court is entertaining legal argument in the prohibition that filed by Samuel Tuer on ground that his actions were strictly the presidential's actions, and so he is moved from prosecutions as provided by the constitutions, and the state is saying no, what you did the outside of the law, so you need to face the law in connection to the amount that you people use, and you people are tying it to national security concerns at Iran.
So to stay with this Capitol building case, I mean, looking at this whole case, the indictment have been read, they are pleaded not guilty, but one may say at this juncture now, normally circuit court's term is 42, and since the opening today is open last Monday and today is Monday, and you kept making emphasis on the time and the volume of the case, looking at pre-trial motion and other things that will interplay between the case. So do you think this case will be tried in this particular court term, to come out final verdict?
I think the term will exceed. That means that we'll get into probably another term, and because the characters that are involved are not taking the case lightly. Likewise, the government too has not taken the case lightly. But the fact that the government have given what we call discovery, which is the evidence, meaning that they are prepared for this case. And between me and you, from the time we've been here following this matter, all the motion that have been filed came from the defense team, and the defense lawyers believe that the clan's character is at stake, and they are reputable people in government. Just imagine we're talking about 5 lawmakers who are representing our district that have confidence in them and to have them in the house, and then they'll be accused of that. So their character is at stake. So they will do everything possible to put out a strong defense, and between me and you, they will not leave no stone unturned. Anywhere in connection to the law that they feel that they're not certified, they will definitely be going up on summary. I mean not summary per se, but through a remedial rate. What are search warrants, what are the mandamus, or what are prohibition